It's three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the OLine Committee.
And we're going to ding, hold on a second here. Ding our guy, the last minute text. Now, I will say, I don't want to reveal everything in Alex's schedule in life. It is an important meeting, it sounds like, that he's on right now.
Here's the thing.
But do you think that the entity scheduling the meeting, that he didn't look at his calendar for an OLC
100%.
recording? Okay.
That's 100% what happened. He didn't understand about listen, I send him calendar invites all the time. I'm like, hey, here's a meeting that I would like you to jump onto. Here's a meeting, this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, hey, we're meeting with this kid. Can you jump on and introduce yourself? And he'll just be like, yeah. And then I know I have to text him at least 10 minutes before and be like, hey, you jumping on? He's like, oh, yeah. I'll be there. Firing it up right now. Like,
totally.
It's just,
He's out shirtless doing yard work.
He's out doing yard work or something.
So he sent in his picks. We'll get to some dumb football questions here. But welcome especially for the Minnesota and Viking fan audience, Mystic Lake.
Oh yeah,
in the house as a new partner on the OLine committee here.
Let's talk about Mystic Lake. I'm hearing that they've got an awesome game day experience. You know, you have the kickoff to the final whistle all season long. Mystic Lake has given away a fan experience that brings the energy of the stadium right to you. If you plan on going to the Vikings game, right, you can hop on a $15 round trip ride to US Bank Stadium and back. No parking, no hassles, just smooth travel all the way through. Or better yet, just hang out at Mystic Lake for the game day at the Hop House, where the game is always on and specials are always flowing, probably with some beers if I had to guess. And when the game's over, just keep the celebration going. If you've had one too many of those beers over at the Hop House, just relax and recharge one of the luxurious hotel suites. Perfect for tuning in on a great game day into an unforgettable getaway. Whether you're a diehard fan or just love the thrill of game day, we've got something for everyone at Mystic Lake. Every day is game day. Whether it's for the thrill, the food, or the fun, it's time to play. Visit mysticlake.com.
All right, we do have a special visitor here before dumb football questions. From his phone wearing aviators, the Rhinos in the house.
Polo?
You're wearing a polo, dude.
Did you rip the sleeves off?
Oh, it looked amazing.
Dude, it looks good. Look at you, man. What kind of coffee are we drinking?
Oh, dude, Venti
dark roast double cup. I mean, it's a tale as old as time with Alex.
Dude, I never change. I am the same person every day. And I'm walking in right now for some special interviews.
Interviews? Can you stop moving, please? You're gonna give me motion sickness. Just find a place to just hang out for 2 seconds.
All right,
He's like an older man than you at this point.
Can you believe this? I'm with my oldest in Cleveland, and I'm freaking dealing with this nonsense. Look at this kid. Look how tall he is. My God.
Oh, Johnny boy making an appearance.
Johnny on the O-line
Look
committee.
at you. I can tell where you are. You have to watch your language because you just stopped like 3 F-bombs from coming just directly out of your mouth. Like it's just you're fighting every second of it.
I would show you where I am, but too many people would start putting dots together. And I can't do that right now, but I will say this. For my
the
banners in the back will give it away and all.
No, we're good. Don't worry about it. They'll figure it out later. Anyways, hey, listen, I'm not a coward, okay? You know I stand by my picks. There's no question. I texted him over, and I can't believe I said it. Cowboys, we're gonna do this. I'm on this dance.
We're not there yet. We're on.
I know, but I'm just letting you know. That's my explanation because you're gonna go. What is he thinking? I'm doing it. I'm going to do it, and I'm excited. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I love you guys. I gotta go. I gotta go get serious.
Hey, hold on, real quick. We had a question. Did you not know that this meeting was scheduled at the same time where we were recording, or did you just not put two together?
No, I keep forgetting I'm on East Coast time because I messed up earlier with the call too.
What time is it, you guys?
Somebody called me. I go, "What do you want?" I'm like, "Dude, you're early." And he was like, "Dude, it's Central." I go, "Oh my god."
It is hard. It is hard.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm sorry. My whole life's been Central, and now I'm on the Eastern, and it's messing me up. But anyways, listen. I love you guys. Enjoy the day. I will talk to you soon.
Boone, we love you too. Good luck in your polo shirt, man.
Good luck in the polo. I need one of those too, by the way. Grab me one.
Everybody loves it.
Bye, Johnny.
See you, Johnny. Look at that. Wow, just dueling rhinos. 2 generations of rhinos right there.
Oh,
just roaming around the old Cleveland stomping grounds.
Why not?
All right, let's get to some dumb football questions here.
Why not?
The first one is this is my question based on some things that you have said over the last few weeks, but also the outpouring of criticism from big names in football. So Pro Football Focus, which I think it's become mainstream enough now because they're putting PFF grades on like Sunday Night Football. And where they rank and stuff. So, but if you're not really fully familiar, Pro Football Focus has been around for like 15 or 17 years. They have graded players in like almost like a Madden-like fashion where they're putting a 1 through 100 number grade on each player's game and each player's season. And so it's like giving real life players Madden grades. Mm-hmm. And I will say this in fairness to PFF, they have really honed their process behind the scenes to involve like former players and whatnot, but it's a lot of behind the curtain. We don't know how the sausage is made necessarily, but it is the only way mainstream for a casual idiot like myself to be able to like have a take on an offensive line. You know, like how is the left guard playing? How's that linebacker playing? Well, let's go check PFF and see what smart people are saying. But J.J. Watt in the last 2 weeks, J.J. Watt, Chris Long, Steve Spagnuolo, Pat McAfee was on it this week. There's been tons of aggressive pushback at the PFF player grade. So my dumb football question to you is PFF valuable for fans and media?
It's valuable for fans and media from the data points that it's supposed to be there, the statistics, the breaking down like yards over expected, the targets versus catches, the drops. The pure data-driven piece of PFF is amazing. I mean, it's outstanding. You can go there and you can look at, hey, how long did this guy stay on his block for compared to when he gets sacked or that type of thing. And that's where it should stop. Right? Stop there, stay in your lane. You're a data-driven company. Boom. Because the second you start bringing grades into the equation, you're now playing in a field that you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle in order trying to put it together. And the reason I know this completely is because I watch film with my clients in the NFL every single week. And I get to ask them one-on-one, hey, what happened here? Right? Because obviously there was a miscommunication and this guy comes scot-free and, you know, he gave up a sack or you gave up a sack, who gave up the sack? And we don't always get the full picture as a PFF piece of like, hey, no, this is the way the protection is turned. That guy's on the quarterback, right? And now it's giving a sack to the left tackle. Or it's giving a sack to the tackle. Or it's giving a sack to the center when the guard went the wrong way. Like there's just pieces of that you look at and you go, that's not great from all positions, right? I'm talking just from the NFL's perspective. But here's my bigger issue with it. If you're J.J. Watt and you're Chris Long and you're these high-profile players, like, yeah, it really doesn't hurt you for whatever your grade is on PFF. But here's my biggest issue with it. PFF can actually really derail a young player's career really quickly. And here's why. Like you said, the casual, the fan base, if you have a player, let's say through the first 6 weeks of the year here, he's a rookie, a low-round rookie or something like that, and you're just basing, hey, he's starting, and you look at his PFF grade, and you're like, hey, this dude's not good. Right? Like, why are we still playing this dude? Why is he still going? He's got a 47 PFF grade or 48, 55. He's ranked this out of everything. And that starts becoming a drumbeat on social media, Twitter, X, beat reporters, right? And that starts a drumbeat. Well, if that drumbeat gets loud enough, that drumbeat then gets brought into the bigger reporters people, and those people now have to answer to their subscribers and their fans, which then now they're going to ask the coach about that player, right? Hey, why isn't XYZ player playing well? And they're basing all of that based off of a PFF score. Yeah. And so then that drumbeat gets louder, right? And it might not be the coach is going to go, oh, whatever. But you know who listens to those drumbeat? The owners. And guess who the only people the owners are afraid of? The fans. That's it. Like the hierarchy, owners, general manager, coaches, players. The owner is not scared of anyone on that tree. They're scared of the fans. So if a fan can start a drumbeat loud enough, and it can eventually work its way there, you're going to have an owner that walks in there going, hey, why are we playing this guy that's got a 47 PFF grade? Isn't there someone better on our roster? Isn't there someone there? And it can actually derail a player's career, right? Or it can derail where those players, maybe they're trying to figure it out and they're getting going, and now they're getting blown up on social media. They're getting blown up on Instagram, Twitter about their low PFF grade. And it's just a hard thing to overcome when now, why do you think we label people as busts so quickly? Because we go to PFF and they go, he has a 30, right? He's terrible. Why would he be out there? But the other thing that I hate about the grades is how they incorporate penalties. That is not an encompassing part of your grade. Like yes, boom, the play's dead. You got a penalty, whatever. but the amount that they rely on penalties to drop people's grades so drastically
That's interesting.
is a total outlier, right? Like this dude, for example, my center last week, he had 1 hurry, half a sack, 2 and that was it in like 40 some pass blocking grades, but he had 2 holding penalties, and now all of a sudden he has a 29 pass blocking grade.
Okay.
Like that doesn't mirror, right? When in reality, all that should matter is, did he hit the quarterback? Did he affect the throw? That's it. Yeah, if you got beat late, don't get beat late, but that's not what the grades are for. The grades aren't meant to be on a play-by-play basis. It's meant for how does it outcome the total effect of the team, and that's the biggest issue that I have with these freaking PFF grades.
The other thing, I mean, this is a great discussion because we come from totally different perspectives and backgrounds. You have a PhD in football because you made it to the absolute highest level of the game, playing in the trenches, in those meeting rooms, at those practices for 6 years. After, by the way, playing Power 5 big-time football at Nebraska in the Big Ten, I played 8th grade, and there was too much running involved in practice. And I was like, I like baseball. Baseball and golf are going to be my physical sports, right? So for me, when I watch a game, and we've kind of like on our text thread, we'll be watching games, and Booney's on the text thread, and you guys will have an observation about something that happened on a twist or in the trenches, even from the TV angle, because it's like, that's what you're watching. And I could stare at it, and I'll catch some of it more now than 4 years ago because I know you guys and you've taught me a lot of things. But if you for the vast majority of people that didn't play high-level football, it's impossible for us to quantify how is my team's right guard performing compared to the other, 31 starting right guards. Now, you can watch enough football and be like, hey, based on your knowledge base and your PhD, you have a pretty good feel for whether like Ed Ingram is better than this guy over here or whatever the case may be. So I appreciate what PFF is trying to do for casual fans, but I do wonder if like for offensive linemen, if instead of having a number grade where, all right, I just pulled every offensive lineman here, let me take tight ends and running backs off here. This is just blocking grades for every single offensive lineman that's played 20% of snaps. Penei Sewell is a 94. And at the bottom of the list, you've got guys who are like in the 30s and the 20s.
Yeah.
And that helps me because like generally, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that Penei Sewell is awesome. And like there's some guys at the bottom of the list that aren't. But where I have a hard time is, and I'm guilty of this, I will form a take sometimes. There's a guy that has like a 45 PFF grade and another guy has a 70 PFF grade. And because of Madden and because of like, how your brain is trained, I think, oh, the guy with the 70 grade is like way better than the guy with the 45 grade. But that's such an arbitrary gap. Like they're basically saying that guy's twice as good almost as the 45 grade.
And really,
that's not necessarily
the
accurate.
reason he got a 45 is maybe he had a holding penalty in that game. Or maybe he had 2 holding penalties in that game. The penalty piece is the bigger issue for me.
Yeah.
Because, yes, penalties are bad. And you should have your own separate category for how many penalties he had. But that doesn't affect your grade. Because your grade is based off plays that actually happen. If the holding penalty gets called or the illegal man downfield gets called, that play never happened. Right? That play is dead and gone. It was accepted. It never happened. You back up, you play 1st and 10 all over again, or 1st or 15. Yep. If you can't have this massive ding to a grade because a play that never happened is now on your grade sheet. And so exactly like you said, you're looking and comparing these two dudes, but if you take the penalties away, they might have the exact same efficiency score. And that's part of the issue. And another piece of this too, Mac, and you probably know this too, when you sign free agents, or when a team in March is signing a new free agent and they come in and hey, we signed so-and-so. And the first thing you do is look up his PFF score and it's a 65 or it's a 57. Immediate outrage from the public, right? Like, why did we pay this person all this money? They have a 65 PFF score. And now that's the first thing that you're thought about when you come onto that football team. It's not it's an excitement thing. And I do believe that PFF has a slight bias to their guys, right? Like you always seem to see the top level guys, the Creed Humphreys, the Penei Sewells, the Lane Johnsons, all those dudes are up there and they're great players. But I think a lot of it is because they know that if those dudes speak out, problem, right? Like Brian O'Neill, I think, is pissed off about the sack that they gave him against the Atlanta game. And we broke it down on here. It wasn't his fault. It was
Yeah,
an empty
we did.
protection that J.J. McCarthy didn't slide to. He squeezed and he ends up giving the sack. Now,
Right.
now he has the sack on his record.
Yeah.
You know, those type of things matter in contract negotiations. Those type of things matter when the owners are trying to talk about who do we add to our team, who don't we add to our team, and everything in those pieces. It's the perception of the player to the public that scares the owners. And that's my biggest issue of it, if it's not just football related. And I would love to see grades that are strictly based off, when we got graded out as players, it was either you got graded out for assignment and technique. Did you do your assignment, and did you do it with proper technique? Those are the two things you're graded on. Right? It's not, oh, you got beaten late. How dare you get beat late? Ding, beaten by defender. It's like, he didn't affect the play. He did not affect the play. I got my assignment done. I used proper technique. He beat me late too. Guess what? He makes a lot of money as well.
But you also might know that there is a layer here that you're digging into, that it would be impossible to know even if you do bring on former NFL players, and that,
for sure.
Okay, I know that this play call is likely to be a pass out to the left based on how the game has been flowing, based on where Myles Garrett is, and so it's going to be a quick hitter. So I'm only going to do my job for like if I can do my job for 2 seconds and then he beats me, it's okay. The ball's out. Like, you might operate differently technique wise, knowing where a ball is going.
Yeah,
or whatever,
I mean,
right?
I talk about this with like marrying your set to the drop.
You might
the quarterback.
you might jump set, right?
It's a 3-step drop. So my job's to jump set him, get his hands down. Well, jump setting, you're only going to last for a second and a half, 2 seconds. Just that's the nature of the thing. But the ball's down, and all of a sudden he edges you late, but it doesn't matter because the ball's out. Right. So there's just certain nuances, or I know like certain protections you look at and go, oh man, that center needs to push out to that guy. Actually, that's not their rule, right? Their rule is to take one widest, second widest, and the center actually has to take two here. And so he's trying to take two, and it looks bad on film. I don't know. I just have a really hard time with how strong, because PFF is gaining steam, in my opinion, from the public side.
It is.
I have a really hard time with just the fact that it's allowing the public to generate so many big opinions about players when they really don't understand why the grade is what the grade is. I wish PFF would publish a line-by-line thing every single time, be like, this is his negative, this is why, this is his positive, this is why. If you want full transparency, show me why you're dinging guys for certain plays.
Yeah. Also, just back to the single number grade, I'm just looking at offensive tackles in the NFL this year. And I have not, and you have not, broken down all of the film of all of these tackles. So it's maybe an unfair question. But if you look and see, for instance, that Jordan Mailata is ranked 5th among all tackles for the Eagles, 83 PFF grade for Jordan Mailata. And if you scroll down a little bit further, let me find another household name here. Jake Matthews with the Falcons is a 70. So he is decidedly worse grade than Jordan Mailata. Or another, Laramie Tunsil is a 76, decidedly lower than Jordan Mailata, Panay Sewell. That's how I read it. I'm reading it and saying, after a month and a half, Jordan Mailata is a level better than Zach Tom, than Jake Matthews, Ronnie Stanley, and that is now etched in my brain and opinion. But is that a fact? Like, now, Jordan Mailata is awesome, but is he like a level better than Laramie Tunsil, Tristan Wirfs?
There's so many factors that go into this. How many times are they leaving that left tackle on the island? Right? Hey, are you on the island player? And I know there's statistics for that. Right? How many times is it because we're sliding to a 3 technique away, so you're going to have a harder job this week, and every week it's harder and harder? There's so little context when it comes to those grades and why that's the problem. And you can do that for any position. Right? Hey, this DB, why is this DB getting graded so lowly? Well, it's because he's the one that they're islanding every time because they have to help the other DB, so he's getting thrown to more often, or vice versa. There's so many contextual things that happen week in and week out that when you're trying to just put a blanket grade on a player after a week, right, and especially this early in the season, if you're going to do PFF grades on Sunday Night Football, you need to wait till at least the halfway point of the season. Because there's just not enough sample size. Because if you have one player that has a really good game but had 2 DPI holdings on him, his grade's going to plummet from a corner position. Now he's ranked 120th out of 123rd on Sunday Night Football, and now your fan base is going, you're telling me we can't find someone better than this Yahoo to get out there when he's actually probably a pretty damn good football player.
The penalty thing is, a lot of this too is maybe PFF has great answers and rebuttals to some of these questions, but unless they become more transparent in their process, you're always going to sit there and poke at some of this. So
Well,
some of the individual stats are really useful though. Like, and you could debate whether something was or wasn't a pressure, but to see that, okay, this guy's allowed 50 pressures and that guy 20, we could probably debate 8 or 10 of them. Like, I like some of the individual stats that they do track.
Yeah, I agree. I think some of the stats are really good, and that's why I said like leaving the stats thing in there. That's the big piece of it. But I'm going to use an example here, okay? And call me biased, whatever. Jalen Sundell is my client, right? Full open transparency here. He's the starting center.
I had a bad rep all year.
He's
been
starting.
perfect.
He's the starting center for the Seattle Seahawks. Okay. Last 2 weeks ago, he played the Buccaneers. Vita Vea, right? He gave up 0 sacks, 0 hits, 0 hurries, had 3 beaten by defenders, a 100% pass blocking efficiency, and a 0% pressure rate, and a 43.7 pass protection grade. Make that make sense. And that's my thing. Make that make sense to me. Because if that's the case, you have a 100% pass blocking efficiency grade, and somehow I get a 43.
So why do you think are there
don't
plays
know.
where like
I don't know
where he's getting beat, quote unquote, but it's somehow not a pressure because of like it's a rollout or. But even if that's the case, if he knows that that's the gray area.
That's the gray area, and that's the part of me that if you're just no one's gonna say. Because like beat reporters and Twitter people love to put out like OLine's pass protection PFF grades this week. It's going to be, oh man, Jalen's at a 43, and then you pull up the tape and you're like 0 sacks, 0 hits, 0 hurries. What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
How does that even remotely make sense in my brain? Those are the stuff that I have a lot of issues with. And then there's times like you'll look at a guy that has 1 sack and 3 hurries, but a 77 grade. And you're like, what the is going on? Like there's just zero continuity to how the grades are done for the offensive line position. And it drives me freaking bonkers.
I will say too, just this is we're like way behind the curtain, way in the weeds on something. I do think a lot of people take interest in this, but they've had a mass exodus behind the scenes. A lot of like longtime smart people that work there.
Yep. The
last 5 years have left. So if there are issues with some of the grading systems, it is a lot of new people that weren't there for a long period of time, and people that have gotten hired to work in front offices that have left PFF too.
And I'll end with this, and I'm not saying this is a truth, nor I'm saying that this is a fact. I'm saying this is a rumor that I have heard from a couple different people. PFF is hiring analysts by the hour on like, just please come grade these games because they don't have enough, like you said. So it's not a continuity. I think that's part of the issue is you don't have the same person grading things week in and week out. And I've also heard from the college side that people are trying to find ways to pay PFF from either buying their huge agency package, buying their huge package to help pump the college players' numbers up because college does more of the PFF paying NIL type stuff than the NFL does because the everything's so big. Now, there's so many players in college and everything. It's not as easy to pro scout like it is in the NFL. You're going to go look at the PFF rankings. So I have heard rumors that there's certain agencies and certain big-time players that are trying to pay PFF to say, hey, bump my guy's grade up because that's going to help more in the NIL space. And if that ever comes true, and I don't think it's true, right? But if that ever does come true, PFF will be toast forever.
That used to be a thing and maybe it still is in like the star rating system for college coaches where I don't know if there's
that's 100% corrupt right now.
How about we
too.
get that guy from a 3 to a 4 so 100%. That I can look better on the recruiting rankings?
Well, it's also now it's the other way around. The agent's going, hey, can I get the guy from a 4 to a 5 so I can up his NIL more? Like that system is totally broken and corrupt. You can't tell me otherwise. Like there's some dudes I'm looking on there like, I don't think you're a 5-star man. We're gonna start throwing that around like generational talent.
Yeah. Okay, next dumb football question here. This one comes from Connor Wolfman.
Yes.
The Wolfman, Connor, sliding into the DMs. And he, to sum up the question, just wants to know, what happens in the blue tent? The blue injury tent. When a guy goes in, and by the way, your guy Brian Dable was eviscerating the doctor. Where's Jackson? Where's Jackson? You get his ass back out here. So I'm just trying to see if he's alive.
I'm the independent neurologist, man. I'm making sure he can count to 10.
Get his ass out.
Yeah, I mean, so like the thing in the blue tent is it's depending on the severity of the injury. You know, the first thing is just privacy, right? Because when you didn't have the blue tent, it was every camera, every reporter, everything
You're
was
holding towels up.
like you're just
try
trying
and
to do
hide.
everything. So the whole idea is the privacy piece, and it's also just so everyone can take a big breath. Because when you do get injured, your body kind of goes into this, especially if it's a big injury, kind of panic, like, oh my gosh, what's going on? So you kind of get into that blue tent, sensory deload, right? Hey, what's going on? Like, doctors are in here, just talk to me, and you can kind of have more of that civil conversation. The thing that I always think is funny, and I'll use the Kirby Joseph thing from Sunday Night Football. The dude is carried off of the field, right? Carried, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, this dude's dead," right? Like he's done for. And then all of a sudden he goes in the blue medical tent, he goes into the locker room, and then you see him like doing sprints up and down the sideline. There are certain medical things that you can do to numb things up. Yeah. Right? I can remember when I had an AC joint sprain. You would barely be able to get through the week. You get to Sunday, and they're like, all right, buddy, hold tight. And they just take this little needle and go and rub it, and you want to die. And then all of a sudden you're like, Puh, what AC joint? And you can just go out there and run. So there are specialty things, whether it's cortisone, lidocaine,
shot of
all
bourbon.
Kinds of fun stuff, whatever you need to do. There's ways that you can numb things up and go out and finish a football game. But I promise this, you will pay for it on the following Monday or Tuesday. Right. So a lot of it is just discussion, making sure, hey, what actually happened? What do we feel? And then being able to go, okay, what's the next step here? Are you done? Or do we think we might want to try something to get you back out on the football field? And that's where you rely on the doctors to say, hey, is it safe for me to go back out on the football field? Am I going to risk re-injury? Am I going to risk injuring something more? What might be? And then you make the game plan action, go into the locker room, get shot up, take something, whatever you need to do, and then get back out on the football field.
How many people fit in the blue tent?
3 max. I mean, because it's one of those long tables, and that thing just pops up and over. I mean, it's not very big. And so when you watch like Dable and Scadman, all the like, it's just crowded, and it also defeats the purpose of we're just trying to have a conversation to figure out what happened, right? Because you're not having that conversation with Jackson Dart as he's laying on the ground, like, dude, what'd you do? Yeah. Right? Like most of it's just like, hey, let's get you off the field. Like let's get you off the field and in a controlled environment and try and actually have a conversation. So they're probably like, hey, is it your neck? Right? Is it your back? And Dable's like, where is he?
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, I'm in here, coach.
I'm gonna get fired.
What are we doing? I have to put Russell in, damn it. Right? Like it's so I mean, usually coaches don't freak out about that stuff, but yeah, that was pretty funny watching Dable lose his mind.
Let's see here. IMMK 9988 has a dumb football question. By the way, click that subscribe button on the OLine Committee YouTube channel. Click the like button. Help us get to 40,000 subscribers. We're making our way there. We appreciate you. Also on the audio side, give us a 5-star rating and a positive review on Apple and Spotify, and to keep sending your dumb football questions in the YouTube comments here. So IMMK says, in the meetings that you guys went really deep on what happens in team meetings. It was an awesome response. Audience loved it. Follow up on that. In the meetings, the team meetings, positional meetings, are coaches answering questions and open to feedback, or is it a nonstop one-way transfer of information from coach to player in those meetings?
No, it's very much a conversational feel. Right? Hey, this is what we're installing, and then if we have a question about it, we need to ask. Right? Hey, if they do this, coach, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to make this call, or do you want us to not make that call this week? Or, hey, are we flipping this protection, or is the quarterback flipping this protection? Or, every play has a bunch of little nuances within the play. And so it usually starts out as hey, just let me get this thing installed, right? Hey, let's get through the installation. Let's get through everything we need. And then at the end, come back and we'll ask questions. And so what we would do, or like what we used to do, is we'd go through and you'd make notes on, pages and pages and pages of notes. All right, on 16, 17, power out of 11, what do we do if they run out of an underfront? We didn't talk about that. All right, we'll get back to that. Okay, next period. And you just kind of go through, and then at the end, everyone, okay, what questions? All right, I have a question on this. I have a question on that. Hey, can we pull that up and look at that again? And you start just having more of this conversational feel, and that's very different than college. College was more, this is what we're doing. And I learned that pretty quickly at the NFL level. Hey, we're professionals here too. We watch just as much tape as you guys do. Like, if we're doing our job right, we should have questions, because we probably will see something differently than you see it, because we're the ones with our hands in the dirt. And so it is very much that conversational feel, unless the coach does, hey, this is an only rule, right? And very rarely do you like to use the word only in a forever ever or forever rule, right? That's very rarely that you like to do that, but there are certain times with certain plays and certain formations. It's like, hey, this is an only rule for this week. We're only making this call, right? period, full stop, end of sentence. You go, okay, this week that's an only rule. And you just kind of star it down when the next week you might have 2 checks off of that play. But there's a reason, and usually the reason is like, we're going to run this no matter what to see what they do to it to try and get to something else. But we're not checking out of this play. We're not checking out of this call. It's an only rule. It's like, okay, sounds good. Got it. And then you pencil that in the back of the head and move on. But I think the biggest thing that, after talking through next week or last week, what we do on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is people need to understand we have to flush all of that immediately and start completely fresh, brand new on Wednesday. Like it truly is a 7-day cycle, right? The second you get through to that next Wednesday, nothing that happened last week matters anymore. It is truly brand new, start from the ground up again.
So Wednesday is your Monday, essentially. Yep. Like if for a normal person, they're off days where they can kind of decompress, or Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday it's right back into it. For you guys, it's not like full off days, but you can decompress a little on Monday, Tuesday.
Well, Mondays come in and watch and put the game to bed from the day before, right? So it's truly the bow on top of the week, right? You come in on Monday, you get your lift in, you run, you move, so you don't feel like absolute death. Then you watch the game, make the corrections on Monday, put it to bed, and then Tuesday's the true kind of off day. A lot of guys come in and kind of get started on their own with their own process, whether it's watching some tape or another lift or massage, PT. But like Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening is the full, hey, boof, shut down, decompress, because once Wednesday starts, full sprint to the following Sunday.
Yeah. It's good stuff here. Let's see. James Bergeson asked this one a few weeks ago. It's kind of an Agent J question here. It's about the salary cap. So if the salary, we were talking about, you can roll over unused salary cap space into the next season. So just for example here, if you pull up like NFL salary cap right now, so we're in the middle of the 2025 season. Free agency was in March and April. And right now, the Patriots, for example, have $54 million in cap space for this year, and the cap is like $280 million or something.
Yep.
The Cowboys have $31 million. The Lions have $27 million, and everyone has some cap space because you have to be.
Go to the Bills.
The Bills are at $2 million.
I was like, it's not good.
The Giants have $400,000 in unused cap space.
Yeah.
So the Bills are at $2 million. They're pressed right up against the water's coming up to their chin.
Yeah.
But so his question is, because you can use unused cap space, you can roll it into the next season. And he says, so then why is there no team that uses the strategy of employing all veteran minimum players for 2 to 3 years so they can spend $1 billion in rollover salary cap in a season on a super team? And I'll attempt to answer that by saying I believe there is a 5-year rolling average floor that you have to be at. Over a 5-year rolling average, you have to be at 90% of the cap.
Correct.
So you can't just strip it down to like $50 million.
Strip it to parts. That's not how it works.
You could for like a year, but then you'd have to be like, you have to math it out over a 5-year rolling average, though.
Yeah, you're exactly correct, Mac. That's exactly why they did that, for that exact reason, right? You can't be like, hey, true tanking. Like true tanking, where you're like, hey, our whole roster costs us like $100 million, right? So we've got $179 million that we're just going to keep in the coffers for 2 years and then have a $400 million salary cap. And the reason for that is you want to keep the NFL competitive, because what drives the NFL? What viewership, right? And from a viewership's perspective, you want great games every Sunday. You want exactly what's happening in this year's NFL to be every year. You don't want the haves and the have-nots. You want true competitive games from even the bad teams to the great teams week in and week out. Well, the only way you do that is by having good players on your team, and that's how you get to that 90 to 95% of the cap that you want to operate in. And also, if you don't operate in that, you get fined a lot of money at the end of that 5 years if you're underneath that 90 percentile.
Yeah. But like for the Patriots, and this is what's kind of scary for the league right now, the Patriots are already good. They're going to win like 10 games. I think they might win the division based on their schedule. They already beat the Bills one time. They have a rookie scale contract, Drake May, that won't start making really big money in terms of like cap hit but that's when he can sign a contract. But that a lot of that money won't actually kick in the way they'll structure the contract for like 4 more years or maybe 5. And they have $54 million in rollover cap space for next year and then maybe beyond. So they're going to be big players in 2026. The Patriots are going to have like $90 or $100 million in cap space to add to what they already have right now. So they're just in a really, really advantageous position.
The teams that do a really good job with the cap are the ones that manage the dead cap really well. And so dead cap is the money that you're paying players that are no longer on your football team. That's where you really, really hurt yourself as an organization, a la the Browns, right? The Browns are paying
$76 million in dead cap.
$76 million in dead cap.
Not even top 3, by the way.
No, and that's the thing is you look at the dead cap, that's the teams that are really going to struggle, and that's what's really killed the Saints for a long time, right? It really kills teams like I want to say, I'm trying to think who the other teams. I think the Jets have some really bad dead cap.
They're in the top 10.
Yeah, and so, the dead cap is the true killer of a team in the NFL. When you're divvying out dollars, millions of dollars to players that are not even on your football team anymore, that's when you become really handcuffed and hamstrung when you're paying out that type of money.
The 49ers and the 49ers have $100 million in dead cap this year. The Saints have $95 million in dead. The Eagles have $82 million in dead cap. I'm trying to think of which players. It could be too that sometimes with dead cap, it's not that you like necessarily like cut a player. It could be that you structured a contract with void years that come to ruse after a player walks in free agency or something. So
yeah, and I mean it's also like, hey, salary or signing bonus, right? If you have them a huge big signing bonus that's prorated over 5-6 years, however long the contract is,
correct,
and you cut them after 3 years or they move on or whatever, you're still eating the proration of that big signing bonus over the course of his contract. So there's a lot that goes into it, but yeah, you start getting over 75 to 100 million in dead cap, really, really hard to overcome year after year.
You better be, and that's where the Eagles have been so good at drafting. You need to be so good at nailing cheap young players,
nailing players on their rookie scale contracts.
You know who's right near the second fewest amount of dead cap dollars? The Colts. Yeah, the Colts have done a good job kind of cleaning up their cap sheet.
Well, a lot of it's who was on quarterback for those teams for a long time, and then are they still there? Like that's really where the big dead cap comes. I mean, you look at the Saints. I think that Derek Carr contract is what's killing them right now.
That's right.
Right, that Derek Carr contract is what's really killing them. I think the Jimmy G contract might still be hurting San Fran. I'm not entirely sure on that route there of what's going on. But you just look at it. It's the big contracts that players don't play out.
Debo.
The
Niners have $34 million in dead Debo cap money.
Yep.
And Eric Armstead, $15 million. Charvarius Ward, 12. Javon Hargrave, 7.
Yeah, that hurts.
Kyle Juszczyk, 3.5 because they cut him and then re-signed him.
Yeah.
Or they missed it. I don't know. They missed a deadline.
Well, he was supposed to be a bunch of guaranteed money if he didn't get released, and so they released him and then re-signed him, so they'd have to pay him a bunch more guaranteed.
Yeah. So I would say being an NFL capologist is
unsung heroes or villains.
Holy cow!
Unsung heroes of villains of teams, man. Those guys are nuts.
We're gonna make our picks here in just a moment. Those are the dumb football questions. Keep sending them every single week. We get to them on Thursdays on the OLine committee. MyBookie is here for you guys. If you want to make some actual money this football season, MyBookie, whether it's college, whether it's pro, you want to brag to your friends in that group text thread, they've got spreads, player props, in-game lines. And if you're new, go to mybookie.ag, use the code OLine, and any bet you choose up to $500 is fully covered using the bet back bonus token. So if you make your play, it doesn't hit, you get it right back when you opt in with that bet back bonus token. That's mybookie.ag. Use the code OLine, and you can make some money this football season. No better time to jump in. Speaking of jumping in, let's jump into a sensitive conversation here, guys. Okay? Yeah. These professional athletes that succeed at a high level, they don't just like walk onto the field. They're preparing mentally, physically. That's what you can do, preparing for bedroom activities. Rougiette is the 3-in-1 ED treatment that actually prepares you for the moment. ED happens when there's not enough blood flow, often combined with decreased arousal signals from your brain. It's not necessarily about age or losing your competitive edge. It's about biology, and it's very treatable. Rougiette is designed to prime your brain, boost blood flow, and start working in as little as 15 minutes up to a 36-hour active window. So it's ready to rock and roll when you are, not just in the first quarter, so to speak. So if elite athletes are dialing in their pregame routine, you can dial in your pre-bedroom routine with Rougiette, RUGIET.com. That's RUGIET.com, and get your game plan from a licensed ED doctor. Use the promo code OLine for a special offer at checkout. Treatment ships discreetly to your door. That's Rougiette.com, promo code OLine.
Football.
All right, let's make some picks here, my friend.
Yes.
We got Boonie's picks
Yep.
filed away here on the text thread. Actually, let me pull up I got to do a little screen share here because it was kind of especially for you, I'm not going to lie, man. It's been a rough couple weeks for old Papa Sirles.
It's not good, dude. They're close. It's not like I'm way off. These games are down to the wire. They're close.
I knew it was going to be one of these two teams that would win that game. I wasn't that far off.
I feel like I haven't like completely swung and a miss on a lot of these games. Like they've been competitive to the end. I've been getting unlucky, man. It's just been
There's been a lot of crazy close games
that just bounce not my way. When it happens like that, there's not a whole lot you can do about it besides just smile through the pain. Smile through the pain.
All right, here's the carnage from last week. I went 2-2. Booney went 2-2. Jay went 1-3 again after an 0-4 recently. So the 2025 standings: Boone is now 16-8. I am 13-11. You are 11-13 going into week 7 here. It's time to get going.
Don't know ball, I guess.
But you're only 5 games back of Boone, who's been sliding too. So
yes. Hey, everyone loves a comeback story, man.
We'll see if this is going to be Jeremiah's comeback story here. The 4 games we're picking this week are on the screen for the YouTube audience. We'll guide you through for the audio audience, but we'll start with Eagles at Vikings. We don't know who the Vikings starting quarterback is going to be. I think it's leaning Carson Wentz right now, but Eagles, who've been reeling, they've been outgained in all 6 games they played. Eagles at Vikings. Should we go Booney's picks first?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. So Booney's going Eagles in this game.
I'm gonna go Eagles in this game too. I think this is if there's ever a must win in October, this is a must win for the Eagles. Right? They get to this point now, and this will tell a lot about who they are as a football team. And there's just a lot of question marks with this Vikings offense right now. And I know the Eagles haven't been this stellar powerhouse, but they still have everyone's healthy. Right, from their skill position standpoint, I think the Vikings are going to play really well. I'm just not sure Carson Wentz or J.J. McCarthy can go toe-to-toe with the Eagles for what's going on here at the question mark position. So I'm gonna take the Eagles.
So you guys both have the Eagles. Yeah, I will. I'll take the Vikings, and I'll find myself.
Yep.
It's equal parts about the Vikings and the Eagles for me. I've been kind of on this all 6 weeks. Their process has been totally flawed. People are trying to say, well, they was tumultuous last year. Yeah, I mean, like, it was loud and it was kind of tumultuous, but they were still running the ball down teams' throats even early in the year when they were struggling a little bit. They are one of the worst rushing offenses in the league through 6 games. It's nobody could have foreseen that type of drop off in their running game. So I just the Vikings have gotten gashed a couple times on the ground, but they get Blake Cashman back, it sounds like, this week too, who's a huge cog. He's the green dot linebacker for the Vikings. So I think with 2 weeks to prepare, I think that defense is going to be really tough at US Bank Stadium. And I'm going Vikings in a close win over the Eagles.
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me if the Vikings win this football game. It's just, for me, like I said earlier in the week, if the Eagles lose this football game, I think they miss the playoffs. Like that is the pivot. That's why I'm all in on the Eagles this week, because I think they feel that as well. I mean, this is as much of a feel of a playoff game for them as it can be in October.
Yeah. Okay, Colts at Chargers. So Booney actually going against thy captor, and he's taking the Colts on the road here.
Yeah, I mean, that's super surprising. You know me, I'm taking the Colts. I've been a Colts guy, I mean, since day one. I know I didn't pick him to win the division. Booney would say that if he was here, right? But I love what Daniel Jones is doing. I think the Chargers are just so beat up. I mean, absolutely beat up from a crazy perspective. I don't know if they can sustain what they did with, I think it's Vital, whatever his name is.
Kamani
Vidal.
Vidal.
I'm not sure what it is, but, he's kind of taken over as RB1, brought him a little bit of a spark. They might get Quentin Johnston back this week, but I think the Colts continue to roll. Like I said, they're the number one team in the AFC, in my opinion.
Man, this is such a tough one. Yeah, the Colts they have not been a fluke. They have not been a fluke. But the Chargers had to grind one out against Miami last week too. I think the Chargers upset the Colts in this at home. I'm going against you guys. I feel like Justin Herbert, the way that he found McConkey on that sort of game-winning connection. I think the Chargers have a better quarterback. I think the Chargers have the better head coach, even though the Colts have the better roster and healthier roster. So this is very coin flippy. I'm leaning home team Chargers in this one, and I'm going against you guys.
Yeah, I'm just going with the Colts are better than Miami, and they had to grind one out against Miami. The Colts aren't going to make the same mistakes that Miami made at the end of that football game.
That's accurate and fair. Okay, Commanders at Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm not. What is Booney watching?
He's got the Cowboys in this one.
I'm going the Commanders in this one. I think, the Commanders obviously let one slip against the Bears on Monday Night Football last week. 3 turnovers, and they still only lost by a point. I think the Commanders get back. This Cowboys defense has been absolutely atrocious. They have not been able to stop anything on the ground. This is Jaden Daniels and Bill are going to just continue to go and run the football, and it's going to be a bit of a shootout, but I'm going to lean on Jerron Payne and Bobby Wagner and that crew from the Washington side defensively. I trust them way more than I do the Cowboys defense.
Here's the crazy thing about these defenses. Yes, the Cowboys defense is bad. They're allowing 6.2 yards per play this season, which is the only worst defenses are the Bears, actually, and the Dolphins, who are 6.5 and 6.3 yards per play. But you only have to go down 2 more slots in the rankings to find the Commanders' defense, which has allowed just under 6 yards per play so far this year. So they have been. You can move the ball on the Commanders. The Cowboys' offense
really good, and they might get CD back.
That's the thing. We don't know for sure if CD's coming back. But even without him, they're averaging this. They're the second highest scoring offense in the entire league so far. They're actually averaging 10 more points per game than the Commanders are. So I don't. The Cowboys are usually just kind of a stay away for me because they're hard to predict. I'm picking the Cowboys too to win this game at home.
Nice.
And I think they will then pass the Commanders in the standings. And with the Eagles losing to the Vikings in my narrative here, the Cowboys and the Giants are close to. We'll see what happens with the Giants this week. That's a tough game against Denver, but
not easy.
Cowboys are not out of that division if the Eagles are slipping. So
they are not. They are not. Yeah. Good. That's going to be a good one. I need to pick one up on you guys there. That's going to be helpful.
Yeah, you're a lone wolf there on the Commanders, and that brings us to Monday Night Football, probably the game of the week on paper. The Bucs and Baker headed to the Motor City at Detroit. Booney has the Bucs winning this game on the road over the Lions.
The hard part about picking this game right now is both teams are so beat up. You don't know who's going to play. Like, is Chris Godwin going to be back? Right? Is the young guy, is Ibuka going to be able to play?
Yeah.
There's so many question marks right now, and the Lions' back end is so beat up. Right, that Branch is out because he decided to punch Juju Smith-Schuster. A great call there, bud.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, man. This game is a total coin flip for me, just based off the amount of injuries on both sides of the football. I'm going to give it to the Lions because they're home, right? Home field advantage. Monday Night Football. Baker's been doing some Baker crazy things. He's going to be down a lot of weapons if even just one of those guys comes back. He's still going to. I don't think all 3 of them get back this week. I don't know. If you get Evans, Godwin, and Ibuka, I give this to the Bucs 10 times out of 10. I just don't know how many weapons Baker's going to have back at this point, so I'm just going to take the Lions here on a Thursday.
Very similar line of thought for me here. This is, with all the injuries, this is very coin flippy here. I could see this being a fun shootout. I'm just Lions home team Monday night. Lions also couple tough losses already too. So it kind of feels like the Lions need this a little more near the top of the NFC than the Bucs. So all very nebulous reasons for me to pick the Lions in a coin flippy game here. So So wow, you and I differ on 3 of the 4, and you're a lone wolf on the Commanders. I'm a lone wolf on the Vikings and the Chargers this week. So we'll see.
Something's got to give for me eventually here.
What if you go 0-4, man?
Then
are you gonna make picks in a week?
Then I just quit. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just be your guys' fan section and watch you two race to the finish.
I totally forgot to add this game to our weekly picks.
The game, not just a game. The game.
The only game that really matters is, in my opinion, the funeral for the Nebraska football team season at Huntington Bank Stadium in the Twin Cities. Jeremiah's Go Big Red traveling up to old Macadac stomping grounds.
Listen, you guys are not good this year. I don't know what to say. You can't run the football. Your completion percentage is not very high.
Don't need to run the football when you got Drake Lindsay playing quarterback.
Oh, yeah, that's going to work out for a long time.
Choosing not to run the football.
Choosing not to run the football with one of the worst completion percentages in the Big Ten, may I add. So, you're running into a Husker team here that is not what you're used to running into. We know how to win games in the fourth quarter. We know how to put up points. We know how to get after the quarterback. You guys are running into a buzzsaw, Mackey. It's coming to Lincoln. Lincoln's coming to Gopherland. And it's Go Big Red all night long.
Wow. I hope they have to surgically remove that helmet from your inflated head right now. I hope the jaws of life.
The number 25 team in the country, may I add, ranked number 25, coming down to just put the stomp on old row the boat as we go through the Twin Cities here.
Look how far we've come, by the way. Nebraska football celebrating being ranked 25th in the country.
What are you guys ranked right now?
We've come a long way from competing for national championships. Well, after the Gophers beat Nebraska on Friday night, the Gophers will probably be ranked about 23rd, maybe 24th in the country.
You wish.
Drake Lindsay. Is Darius Taylor back?
Remember when Buffalo almost beat you guys? Remember when you had to almost squeak one out last week against Purdue?
Listen, this is a team that crescendos as the season goes on. Okay, we save our best football.
You know what you are? You're exactly what you are. You're an 8-win football team, which is what you are every single year. You're looking at a 10-win Husker team. A 10-win Husker football team is walking in there.
Why don't you call us when Ohio State magically pops up on your schedule, when Oregon pops up on your schedule? Penn State.
Got Penn State. Not my fault Penn State sucks. Not my fault Penn State fired their coach. I can't help that.
Is it going to be your fault when your coach goes and takes the Penn State job in a few months, huh?
Hey, I hope they come get your coach. I hope PJ Fleck would be perfect for Penn State.
Or Nebraska after Matt Rule goes.
They'd have a new saying, probably like Mount the Lions or something stupid like that. But you could make it happen. I think PJ Fleck has a better chance to be Penn State's head coach than Matt Rule.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens at the bank on Friday night.
Steak and a beer?
And we'll see if Jeremiah is able to remove that helmet from his head in time for Monday's show. Steak and a beer. Straight up Gophers. I got Gophers. You got the Huskers. We'll see. Alex, Ohio State guy, he's probably just
gonna make some comment about I didn't even know those two teams still existed or something ridiculous.
And he's probably right. All right. He's Jay. For the traveling Rhino and mini Rhino making his debut on OLine Committee, I'm Phil. Have fun watching Week 7 in the National Football League, and we'll recap it with you guys on the Monday show. See ya.